Hello, my name is Cynthiaaliceanderson, and I'm the owner and founder of the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. We are now completing 3 years of being on the air, and I wanted to personally thank you for all of your support. As a listener, as you share the podcast on your social media pages, and for your financial support. We would not be where we are today without this amazing support, which is in over 80 countries and 150,000 downloads worldwide. So I thank you, dear friend. I'm grateful we get to walk this journey together, and I cannot wait to see what we're able to do in another 3 years. Thank you again, dear friend, and blessings on the journey.
Supportek Staffing presents The Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly show featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from diverse perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 159, Happy and Free. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. My name is Cynthia Anderson, and I'm the host, and I'm here in my home studio today, and is just thinking about you here. Happy to be the one to welcome you into your week. Happy Monday, friends, and thank you so much for joining me. And we're always happy to have you with us, whether it's on your drive time or when you're at home or even when you're working. Somebody recently told me that they listened to YouTube. One person told me they listened on their walk. Another person told me they listened in the office because they could really take it in as they worked. So wherever you may be listening to us today, dear friend, we are grateful. We are happy that you are with us, and welcome to July. Wow. I mean, today is July 5th, and our topic for today very appropriately is happy and free. Happy and free. And happy and free is frankly about living on purpose. I find that when I'm living on purpose, I am happy and free. And when I'm happy and free, I'm living on purpose. Those things seem to be interchangeable. Those things seem to be interchangeable. Of course, we often talk about happiness being a momentary feeling and joy being from the soul. So happy and free might be a temporary feeling, but what I know is it comes when I'm living in alignment with my truth, like what I'm supposed to be doing. When I am totally on purpose, I'm happy and free. I know that when I'm speaking, when I'm doing the podcast, I know that when I'm teaching a course, I know that when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, when I'm being a mom, I am happy and free. Those are things I was born to do, I love to do, and it gives me great joy to do. So think about that. What makes you happy and free? When you're doing them, you just naturally feel happy. We are here living life, as we're each of us going about it in our very own way. Some of us are really seeking to live a higher spiritual life. And so as we look around at the world, we see things we don't like. And so it can be very easy to, once we see those things we don't like, to get angry, to get upset, and that is normal. And, I believe even Jesus had moments of anger. I mean, he did turn over tables in the temple. So we know anger and feelings that we have that are up and down are very normal. But if we live life where we're only angry or hurt or resentful, then our whole life begins to take on a feeling tone that is not conducive to growth. It's not conducive to abundance or openness and acceptance or, the great virtues of forgiveness, of tenderness, of kindness, the fruits of the spirits, as the scriptures say, of love, joy, and peace. So we simply want to be aware. I mean, this podcast is so simple today. We simply want to be aware, when are we happy and free? It seems like a very simple question. It seems like a very simple question. When am I happy and free? Do you know how many books are sold on the topic of happiness? Well, I don't know how many, but I know that's what they all promise. I know that's what they all promise. So what we tend to do is internalize the fact of like, well, if I'm not happy and free all the time, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Like that's come to me. Maybe, am I doing it wrong? No, it simply means we're human in this human experience we call life. And when life happens, there's going to be more than one feeling. But again, we want to notice, but when are we happy and free? The great Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was asked, what is the secret, to happiness? And he said, very simple. Do the things that make you happy and quit doing the things that don't make you happy. Can you believe that? It's so, so simple. So simple. I think at times we forget that we have the right to be happy. Somehow some of us learned along the way that suffering was a part of the curriculum. And so, of course, life happens, but how much we suffer, I think, depends on how much we hold on to the past. I had a situation recently where I was feeling just really good, really on point, really from center. And something happened and it started moving me into the past a little bit. And I started feeling all these other emotions that went with that experience. And it didn't take long before I said to myself, what has happened? Because how I was feeling and how I am feeling now are two totally different states of consciousness. Not only different feelings, I mean, they were two different states in consciousness. One was happy, one was free, one was on point, a feeling connected. The other was angry, the other one was resentful, the other one was disconnected. And so as I saw that, begin to happen, I could stop myself. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm getting lost in the hurt of the past. And if I can just be here now, all will be well. And friends, it just took a few deep breaths to get myself right back into the moment. And as soon as I could breathe, as soon as I found my center, all was well again. In just a few moments, I went from happy and free and connected to angry and resentful and hurt, back to happy again. So I share that with you for many reasons. Number one is that this feeling spectrum that we seem to be on this journey we call life, that is a part of the curriculum. We're going to have moments of happy, sad, mad, even guilt, times of shame, unforgiveness, and resentment. But what we want to remember is that we don't have to stay there. We can move into peace, into joy, into love, into true happiness, which of course we know is from joy. I had a friend and mentor who said, joy is a sure sign of the presence of God. Joy is a sure sign of the presence of God. So I know if I'm feeling disconnected, if I'm feeling, for a longer period, a feeling of anger or resentment or unforgiveness or hurt, if that's going on and I'm starting to feel disconnected, I know there's soul work to be done to get me back into the moment. The good news is now that I can recognize it, I can move back into the moment a lot more easily, a lot more quickly than I could even 6 months or even a year ago. My attachment to the past is releasing. And so this is good. This is good. This is a good movement. This is good energy. I'm moving into happy and free, praise God, on a more regular basis, praise God. When I'm happy and free, I'm living on purpose. That's what I have discovered. When I'm happy and free, I'm living from purpose. Which, purpose, we sometimes think purpose is this grand thing. And I've been caught in that as well, that, what is my purpose? Well, my purpose is to live. My purpose is to embody the presence of the divine in everything I do. But of course, that's known through each of us very individually. We're on an individual soul journey, an individual spiritual journey. So the way you embody God and live that out in the world is different from the way I will. So I think sometimes we get stuck on, are we living our purpose? When in fact, all of us have the same purpose. It's basically to bring God into the world through our humanness, through our expression, through our human expression, knowing that we are both human and divine. We know we have the capacity to do this because Jesus himself said, I am the vine, you are the branches. In other words, we're always connected. Abide in me and I in you, he said. So in fact, friends, we have the capacity to be happy and free at most every moment if we will only stop. If there's this old song by a group called Devotion, and the song was called Stop, Step Back. And the words, it kind of went like this: stop, step back, breathe and be open. Stop, step back, and let spirit guide your way. And it went on from there. But I was singing it the other day with my son, and we just started laughing because when he was about four years old, I brought my guitar to Vacation Bible School, and we sang it. Stop, step back, breathe, and be open. And it's so interesting. Here I am in my early 50s. My son is now a teenager, and that song still comes to both of us and helps us. Stop, step back, breathe, and be open. Stop, step back, breathe, and be open. So going back to my original question, when are you happy and free? What are you doing? Are you alone? Are you with people? Are you outside? Riding a horse? Paddling a kayak? Hiking a mountain? Fishing? Walking? Hiking? What makes you happy and free? One of the things I've noticed about my life is that I have to be outside every day really to be happy. Several years ago, I was considering a move, but the place I was considering moving just didn't have enough trees. And I didn't think I could survive it, because being outside, being around trees, being in nature is so a part of my happiness. Several years ago, when I was working on a course, it's called Dream Big, Live Big. But at first, I didn't know I was working on a course. I was just working on my own spiritual journey. And a course grew out of that because of how much it helped me. Every day I was kind of doing my own spiritual walk. And as I was looking deeply because my life was feeling a little out of balance, I was working a lot and I wasn't spending a lot of time outside. I wasn't connecting with friends as much as I normally did. So I was trying to get my life back in order. And so I had a time where I really, really felt like, okay, once a month, I really need to get outside. I need to spend time in nature. I need to go to the beach. I need to do hikes. I need to walk my dog, whatever it is. I've got to be out, more. So having said that, that was the goal I set for myself, that once a month I would have extended time outside. So I don't mean 15 minutes or 30 minutes. I mean, hours once a month. Well, it went so well that I said, I need to do this once a week. Once a month isn't enough, because that 4 hours, I felt like, oh my goodness, I felt like I'd been on vacation for a week. I felt so rejuvenated and re-energized that then I started once a week, making sure I did a big hike or went horseback riding or, something that nurtured that part of my soul. And what I noticed is that when I got home, I had a lot of energy. I was feeling really good. Nothing could bother me. I was just in the flow. I felt so happy and free. I felt so happy and free on the personal level. Well, then after I'd done that for a while, for a week, I decided that maybe I needed more time outside every day. And now, many years later, I probably spend a good, probably couple of hours every day outside at least, because I often do my journaling outside in the morning. I often do an extended walk. And then I often do other walks, throughout the day, just short walks around the block or do a kayak trip or, things of that nature, a hike, a walk, and I always go to beautiful places, lakes, rivers, streams, find a place to walk in the woods or even just walking in your neighborhood, especially at certain times of the day. I've noticed in my neighborhood, there's a lot of water and there's a lot of bird life. So right at twilight, I love to go out and right as the sky is turning and to see birds fly overhead, that makes me so happy. I feel connected to all that is. And there's some part of that when I see that, I just know I'm living on purpose. I don't have to be producing or creating or making money. I just know I'm connected. And I feel happy and free. And I think this is what it feels like to live on purpose. To simply be and be happy and free in the moment. When we're happy and free, it means we're not lost in the hurt of the past. We're not caught in some deluded fear. We're not off into the future. We are here now, simply being, breathing, walking, enjoying life. So what are you doing when you're happy and free? And are you doing it enough? Are you doing it enough to bring peace and balance into your life? That's ultimately the question. Rest assured, when you're happy and free, you are living on purpose. You are connected to all that is. It is unmistakable when we're in that moment. When are you happy and free? Give that some thought. And we'll be back right after these brief messages.
We'll return to the program in just a few moments, but first, we wanted to give a special word of thanks to our podcast partners, Supportek Staffing. Supportek Staffing is an innovative staffing agency built on the principle of caring about employers and employees as they navigate these new workforce and workplace challenges. If you're an employer, they want to be your human resource partner and help with the changes needed during the pandemic. If you're a candidate, they want to become your lifelong career agent to help you grow into your fullest potential. Supportek prioritizes support over volume, integrity over profits, and will treat your business and your career as if it was their own. You can learn more at supportekstaffing.com. That's SUPPORTEK staffing.com. We now return you to this week's episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey with your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
So welcome back. Thank you for joining me again today. And I also want to always thank our sponsors for their tremendous support of the show. And thank you, dear friend, as always, for listening, for sharing the show on Facebook, on all your social media pages. And, one of my favorite things, I found out that there was a group of people that would listen to the show and then talk about it. And how cool would that be if we could get a movement of people starting to listen to a show and then talking about it, just all on your own, having spiritual conversations, that went deeper that you could have together. What's tough in a podcast is I can't see you and I can't communicate with you, which is why coming up, especially this late summer, early fall, I'm doing more live and in-person events because I miss the in-person connection. And I think we can take the material even deeper when I can be there with you in person. So I want to encourage you to do just that. And today would be a great one to talk about with friends, like, do the happy club. Let's all get together and do stuff we love to do. Or let's get together and talk about all the fun stuff we do and then plan times where we can do it. I don't know. To me, that sounds like a blast. So today we are talking about happy and free and living on purpose. And, as I just said that, I thought that might sound a little trite to be happy and free. I can hear somebody saying, well, don't you know there's things going on in the world? Yes, of course I do know. And what I know is that me getting sucked into the media frenzy that goes on every day is not going to help the world. How I can help the world is bringing my healed, whole self back into life. And so it's why I do what I do, that I believe that the problems we see in the world cannot be legislated. I believe they're soul problems. So this is why I do the work of the soul every day. And I know if I'm happy and I'm free and I'm feeling connected to God, that the way I come into the world is going to be very different. If I'm angry and stuck in the past and, rolling around in resentments and hurts, then no. What I'm going to be bringing into the world is more hurt, more resentment, more bad energy. And I want to be bringing life and love and hope and energy into the world. This is my goal. This is my call. It's why every show is to help you grow, prosper, and evolve. So today, happy and free. I'm saying you can be happy and free. It's almost like we learn to live from this new vibrational reality that we know what's going on in the world, but we don't get sucked in by it. It's not that we're rising above necessarily because we're aware and we're connected to what goes on every day, but that we're seeking to live life from this plane of awareness that can see the material but source in the spiritual. And so what I'm saying about being happy and free is about doing just that we source in what is lasting. We source in God. We source in the moment. And so when life sends us its curveballs, which of course happens every day, maybe a kid is sick or we get a scare from the doctor, or we have somebody in our family die that was unexpected. All these things are difficult and must be navigated good and well. And so this is part of the journey. But can we even find happy and free in the midst of all of those things? Well, the answer is, of course, yes, we can. Yes, you can. You could be in the middle of a stadium with angry people and still find happy and free inside yourself. That's how strong you are. That's how powerful you are. Happy and free. It's like your nature to be happy and free. It's your nature to be connected and loved. It's your nature to live on purpose. And so if you're feeling disconnected, there's something you can do about that. There's something you can do about that. One of the things you can do, I said earlier, is to breathe. Another thing is to do something that makes you happy. One of the greatest ways I know to feel better is to help someone else. Right now, I'm in a process internally of deciding where I'm going to give my time and energy as I volunteer. I love to give of my time and my energy, but it has to be in balance with my work, with my personal time. It has to be in balance with my spiritual life. But giving of myself ultimately is the highest spiritual thing we can do. Giving of ourselves. Selfless service, I love to call it. Helping somebody expecting nothing in return. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love to help kids. I love to help elderly. I love to help people in need. I want to make sure, though, where I'm giving my time, where I'm giving my energy is really on point for me right now and really will serve that organization in the best way possible. So I'm seeking that right now because that brings me a lot of joy, and I know it keeps me at center. It keeps me on point. And when I'm on point, that means I'm connected. That means I am happy. That means I am free. Yes, this is very, very important. Selfless service. So one easy thing, if you're feeling out of balance, you can breathe. You can give of yourself to someone else. You can pray. You can pray. You can give thanks for all of the blessings you already have. You can simply be present with the feeling of not feeling connected. And as you're present, the feeling dissipates and suddenly you're connected again. It's so beautiful when this happens. I was thinking about this topic too of happy and free as it relates to my career. And, so many of us, I think, grew up thinking, well, you had to work a job. Well, what I've learned over the years of working with thousands of people is that it's really, really important that you love your work so much that it doesn't feel like work. And what I've noticed is that when I give myself to my work the way I give myself to my family or to life, in other ways, when I give myself to work in a real meaningful way with my heart, just seeking to be of service, seeking to bless others, then you know what? I find that I'm in the flow. I find that I feel happy. I find that I feel free. And honestly, I find that I am successful, that I'm in the flow financially as well. See, happiness is a good indicator that we are on point, on purpose, tapped in, turned on, ready to go, living life. So think about that. If you are working now, is your career, do you look forward to going into the office? Do you look forward to working with clients? Do you look forward to designing at home? Whatever your work may be, do you look forward to that activity every day? One of my former mentors would say, is your work a yes to life activity? A yes to life activity? Or is it a no to life activity? Meaning, we could go in the same office and do the same task. And for you, it could be a yes to life activity. And for me, it could be a no to life activity, depending on our connection with what the work is. This is why it's so important to know yourself, what you love to do, what lights you up, what brings you joy, what makes you happy and free. I've discovered it is happy. Excuse me. I've discovered it is possible to be happy doing many, many types of things. I've discovered when I'm happy, I'm on purpose. So in your work, when you're feeling happy and free, you're going to be in the flow. You're going to draw good clients to you. You're going to draw possibility to you. You're going to draw abundance. You're going to draw success. And you're going to create this vibrational energy around your work and around your business. That is an energy all its own. And it'll be reflective of you and your energy. For instance, I've realized recently that I'm holding several retreats around the country, and I didn't plan to do any of those retreats. They grew out of a time of really respite that I was taking. And while I was in a few different locations, I looked up a few old friends, and they all said, we'd love to have you do something here. And so part of the reason I'm on tour, part of the reason I'm changing some of the programming as of next month on the channel is that I'm doing so many live and in-person events that I'm dedicating more time to that and doing a little bit less online, even though I love the online stuff. I absolutely know that I am supposed to be doing a few more live events. People are seeking connection. And so while I love that the podcast puts me worldwide, I also want to connect regionally as well, in person. And so as I was living the life, living the dream, as I took some time off and was just kind of in a time of respite, I hiked every day. I ate really good food every day. I saw a few friends. Well, what came out of that time naturally was connections for future work, even though it was not anywhere in my conscious intention. So now I have 3 retreats planned around the country, probably a 4th next year in Kansas City. So right now, at the end of September, I'm going to be in Phoenix. So check my website, at cynthiaaliceanderson.com, and check all the various retreats. One is in Carefree, Arizona, which is just outside of Phoenix, the last weekend in September. The next one is the first weekend in October in Winter Park, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. And the third one is in Fayetteville, Arkansas with the great John Two Hawks. right? So I'm so thrilled to be bringing these, and I'm just sharing that how it just came out of my joy of seeing people that I've known for many years from many different ministries through several different capacities, and that I am so grateful and honored, to be able to support these souls around the country spiritually. I always wanted to reach the world. I've always wanted to have a virtual ministry. And so in each location, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that. So I know as I do this work, as this work comes to me, this is a part of my purpose. And to do it, it makes me happy and free. So friends, I hope you'll think about this. I'm sure you already are in your life. I know how the mind works, that you're thinking, am I free here? Am I free there? Or could I use a little bit more alignment with that? And of course, friends, we're all in this journey together. And on my own journey, I've really learned that, what brings me happiness and joy today might be different in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, because I'm growing constantly as a soul, just as you are. I'm seeking to grow. I'm seeking change. I'm seeking expansion, which means I know I'm going to have new opportunities. And I'm going to have to navigate that through my spiritual journey, through my psychological work. So as this happens, the things that make me happy as I change and grow might also shift. I know if you're a regular listener to this show that you think deeply about how you're guided. You think deeply about the nature of your life, and you seek to make a difference in the world. I know that. I know that. I feel very honored to support you on your journey. And in my work, I feel so free and happy to be able to share my learning and my work with you in the world. In closing, friends, I'd like to share with you again that the podcast is now at the 3-year mark. We're completing 3 years. I honor you. I thank you. And I support you on your journey. And my prayer for you is that you continue to grow with me as we all seek to grow, to prosper, and evolve. I hope, dear friend, you are happy and free and living on purpose. This is my prayer for you and for me as we walk this journey together. Blessings on the journey, dear friend, and we'll see you next week.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey, presented by Supportek Staffing. This channel is also made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2021 Cynthia Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.